Guys, I feel like Euro 2020 is either going to be the best European Championship of all time or the worst, right? We've got fans back in stadiums, but not that many of them, not full stadiums. We've got no individual host country, or, sometimes we have two host countries. We don't have that this time. It's all over the place.
How many host countries actually?
We've got 11 host cities, I think, if I've got that right. Maybe we should check that.
Check it, YouTube.
Research, right? So already you've got a weird tournament there, but Europe is kind of coming out of another wave of COVID at the moment, for now at least. All the ingredients are there for a very weird tournament, right? Weird. Is this going to be good or bad or what?
I'm excited for this tournament. I feel like it's like the culmination of everything. Fans have been out of the stadium for so long, and then there's a big tournament, which everyone always looks forward to. So it's kind of just oh my goodness, finally, something just to let up from the really serious tone that's been surrounding football for so long. And
that's going to be good, definitely. Yesterday you had Germany play Latvia, not the most exciting game in the world.
What do you mean?
But there were seven
no
goals.
Disrespect to Latvia, actually. But it was 1,000 spectators, I think, and that felt good. So actually that's why I'm also excited about this tournament, first and foremost, because I know there will be people in the Olympic Stadium, in Rome, in Munich, in Budapest. It's going to be full house, I hear.
I heard it could be full, and maybe Wembley too. By the time the final comes around, it could be full.
Yeah. Which would be crazy, wouldn't it? Already,
fingers crossed.
Already with the FA Cup final and with the Champions League final and so on, just getting a few fans back in stadiums just made all the difference. None of this fake atmospheric sound that TV companies have been putting on.
I hate that.
Or just this sort of sound like you're in a hall or something like that. You just echoey, sort of shouts around the ground. None of that anymore. We've got proper football again, is what it feels
Yes, and we've been missing it for so long. That's actually good, but what you said initially, there are also some downsides. I don't want to be too negative, but for example, just this whole Corona thing changed entire teams around, I think.
Yeah.
Teams that before were kind of good. For example, I would say Ukraine, but Corona really hit them hard in the fall of 2020 when 12 players were infected with Corona. The entire team had to go into quarantine, and they didn't come back the same, in my opinion.
Well, look at Spain right now as well, right? Because Sergio Busquets got a positive COVID test, and now the whole squad, I think, is isolating because of that. And that's just throwing the whole preparation into chaos, presumably. So COVID is still going to play a role in this.
Yeah, it can happen during the tournament. Switzerland traveled from Baku to Rome to Baku.
What about the German regulations to put if you go from the UK to Germany, you have to quarantine, so you might not even get to play? What?
Right.
I don't understand.
Point. If they make it to the final, they can go there.
You can't go? Sorry, we can't go?
I have no information about that, I must say. I don't know.
No, but it shows that, everything is far from clear about this tournament.
Yeah.
So, all the stuff we've all said we're really excited about. At the same time, there's definitely stuff that could go completely wrong and could completely, blow up the tournament.
It's like hanging on a thread. It's it could be really, really good, but the smallest thing happens and everything goes to the garbage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think what, for the most part, we're excited about is to see some really good football teams as well, right? I mean,
and I think that's going to be a lot of stress on the football side of things, because imagine this tournament had happened in 2020, it would have been traveling fans all over, English fans traveling to Baku, Scottish fans traveling to I don't know where.
Right.
So it would have been there would have been a lot of talk about the fans also, but this time around less, I guess, and there will be more stress on the actual game, which I'm also super excited about. There are some amazing teams out there, new teams, and it's going to be good, I think.
Yeah, completely. I mean, you guys have been making videos about some of these teams as well, right?
Correct.
We've been making
Sebastian
cases.
And Danya, along with Camilla and Max, two of our other presenters, have been making the case for various different teams. What I want to ask you is which of the videos, which of the teams that you presented are you going to be watching the closest? Which are the ones that you're most excited for? Not necessarily the ones that you think are going to go all the way and win it, because that's not always the most exciting, But which are the ones that you're going to be watching the closest? Daniel, let's start with you.
I think that's pretty obvious, guys. Come on, let's get serious.
Don't say Italia. No, come on.
Shock. The Italian says Italy. But, I mean, obviously I'm biased because I'm Italian and I hope that they do well, especially after the shock and shambles that was 2018. So, but I got to be honest with you guys. I mean, I made a case to the Netherlands. And I really, really want them to do well after them being out of international tournaments for so long. And they actually do have a pretty good side. So I really want them to do well, but like with De Boer right now, they just don't really look like that cohesive unit that they did when Koeman was the coach.
Right, because I went to Netherlands against Germany in the Nations League or qualifier, I can't even remember now.
Nations League.
Right,
I
think. Nations League. And Netherlands are great, you know, and at that point you thought they're back, you know, and these guys could really be a force at the next tournament, and it's kind of gone downhill a bit since then. But do you think they can pull it around?
It's like that, like, I feel like when Koeman went to the team, he kind of like brought back that, I said this in the Netherlands piece, he brought back that like spark, that total football. Everyone's like, wow, 4-3-3, because that's like a national treasure obviously in the Netherlands. And then like a lot of people now are kind of criticizing De Boer because he played like 5 at the back, and they're saying it's not really like the identity of the Netherlands, and they just didn't look like they were clicking.
It feels like his career is on the line a bit, Frank de Boer. Like, you know, he's had a couple of, you know, missteps recently, the last few years, yeah. You know, and it feels like this is the tournament where he can save his reputation, or it could go the other way, and then he probably won't get considered for a big job again.
I believe a lot in chemistry, if I can just add that, actually, inside the team. And De Ligt, actually, he criticized De Boer publicly, actually. And this is something that should not happen. And that kind of indicates, you know, that the atmosphere inside the team is not too good. So the Netherlands...
That could be what saves them, right? Like characters like De Ligt, you know, having that sort of strength and mentality.
Could go both ways, but I'm not too optimistic.
The Dutch are famous for blowing up at tournaments as well, so...
True, but I think also De Ligt, I don't think it was more referring to the team, because I've heard that the team's actually like a good unit. I think it's more like a general, they're not really that happy with De Boer, and they're not really buying into the 5 at the back in the system. So, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, it is all on the line for him then.
Yeah.
Sebastian, you've been doing these videos too.
Yeah.
You should definitely check them all out as well, guys. So which of the teams that you looked at are you like most excited about?
Well, I did, you know, cases for Turkey, Croatia, and the country north of Greece, with the sun and the flag, whose capital city is Skopje. I'm not allowed to say the name of the country, actually.
Yeah, a lot of angry comments.
Right? A lot of angry comments there. So I looked at these countries, but personally, I'm really the most excited about Belgium, a country I didn't do. Like, sorry, we just spoke about the Netherlands. We're going to keep it in that region because I'm really looking forward to their football, because I like their football. I like the team also, I must say. I checked the other day, in the year 2007, Belgium was ranked 71st in the world.
It's crazy.
And today...
everything has happened since then.
What are they? Number 1. Yeah.
It's their golden generation. It's like, I feel like it's time. Like they have to win something.
The time has come for them to finally do something. In 2018, I was in Brussels, actually, for the semi-final against France, where they deservedly lost. France were the better team, but that was a shame, really, because also in 2018 they really played well. I think at this time I kind of hope that their time has come. So I'm really looking forward to what Belgium can do. De Bruyne is now kind of injured. We don't know when he will be back.
Apparently he's supposed to be okay. Maybe not for the first game, but that's a big miss. If he's not like perfect, that's a massive miss for them. And I think Witsel too, because he's really important to giving that side like the balance they need to protect the defense, which is kind of getting a little older.
Yeah, he's had a horror season with injuries, hasn't he?
Yeah, terrible.
But this discussion brings me on to something that I really felt when I was watching all of these videos, you know, that actually at this Euro, we've got a lot of teams who it feels like have a golden generation at the moment. I mean, look, we all know about France, right? World champions.
Well,
you know, their C team is probably like
France
the
has like
best team in
5
the world.
golden generations right now.
And Belgium too, of course. And it feels a bit like this might be, you know, the last chance for Belgium's golden generation. We've been talking about their golden generation for quite a long time now, and you know, this might have to be the time. You know, maybe
the World Cup's not that far away.
It's 18 months, yeah, true.
It is getting to the end of the cycle, definitely.
Exactly. But then there's a couple of other teams as well that I look at and think like they are really looking good. Like I know they're the holders, but Portugal this time I think have a much better squad than they had last time out.
Which means they will lose.
Well, that's how
and drop out in the group stage, because whenever they have good teams, they either drop out in the group stage or lose finals to Greece.
No way, they can't drop out in the group stage because 3 people they could qualify in 3rd place even if it was a disaster.
But it's the group of death.
It is the group of death. That's true. But I'd like to
Hungary
think they're
playing in front of 60,000 crazy Hungarians.
But their best player is also injured.
Yeah.
So
Well,
True. No, I'm saying Portugal definitely are one to watch. Definitely.
Yeah, Hungary will miss Dominic Szoboszlai, definitely, as you brought him up there. But Portugal, obviously we could always talk about Ronaldo, but added to that, they've got the Silvas, Andre and Bernardo, Bruno Fernandes, who, what a season he had in the Premier League. Oh, Ruben Diaz as well. Same thing about him, Premier League Player of the Year on top of that. So, Portugal, it really feels like have come on massively from the team that won the tournament. And I'm going to say it quietly because I don't want to jinx anything. England. Also,
what did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Your hearing's bad, Sebastian.
I couldn't hear you. It's the wind up here or something.
But hey, Harry Kane.
Did you say Scotland or
Harry Kane? Jadon Sancho.
England.
All these young attacking players. England haven't really had those kind of players before. They have like Foden and Grealish.
Super talented generation. I mean, let's be honest here. They have a very good generation in England.
Wait, I have to ask the Englishman a question.
That's
okay.
Right.
So England, it seems like they have such ridiculous players. Like, who do you, you're Southgate, how do you even begin to put your best 11 out there? And do you think it kind of hurts them that they have so many options because, nobody really gets that used to, they don't have their set 11, so, the cohesiveness of a team, do you think that actually, hurts them, the fact that they have so many good options?
I mean, look, it can always go wrong, and you can probably look at a team like Argentina from that point of view as being a comparison where every tournament for the last 10, 20 years, you look at the squad and you think there's so many great attacking players, but you can't cram them in to one team, and then there's other positions where it's not so good. I mean, I do think England have good players in every position as well. I think, in defence, if Harry Maguire is fit alongside, someone like John Stones, and then a player like Kyle Walker, who's got a lot of experience at international level as well, and in the middle, Jordan Henderson, obviously brilliant for Liverpool the last few years. Mason Mount, who really, hit his stride this season.
Yeah.
There are players all over the pitch who can do a good job, and I think if you have to build around Harry Kane, just
Obviously.
because he's a guy who can put the ball in the net again and again and again.
Yeah.
And you look at Jadon Sancho, the kind of last couple of years that he's had at Borussia Dortmund as well, and he's also a guy with so much ability. I obviously hope that it doesn't hurt England. I hope that it will be good competition, and I think the fact that it's a young team, like a on average young squad, means that it should be. I don't think Phil Foden, for example, is going to be getting really angry and throwing his toys out of the pram if he doesn't get picked in the starting 11 for the first couple of games. Because they're young, they've got this humility that means that they should be able to stick together. Let's see if that actually.
Are you making a case for England here?
Max did that for me already, so I don't need to do that. You guys can go and watch Max's video on that. But no, so England, I think, would be another one of these teams with a real good generation at the moment. And there's other teams that are on the way as well. I mean, Italy is one that we've already mentioned. And
they are
you made the case already.
For me, they will make it very far in the tournament, Italy. I know you have a lot
Don't jinx us, Sebastian.
I know you are much more knowledgeable than me, obviously, when it comes to Italy. Check out Daniel's case for Italy. And it's a very strong case, actually. I really see them go far. Also because probably in their group, they will probably even come in first. They play all 3 games at home, which brings us back to your initial question. Should that be right? That, for example, Switzerland travel from Baku to Rome and back in times of Corona, and Italy play all 3 games at home. But that's just the concept of this very tournament.
I mean, there's a lot of.
You must be pleased with Mancini, right? And how he's done since taking charge.
I mean, Mancini.
How many players has he tested? 70 something.
A lot, so many that you're like, oh yeah, he did. He called him in too. Yeah, okay, him too. But Mancini is a winner. He's won pretty much everywhere he's gone. And he did take over, I mean, to his benefit, when he took over Italy, it was at times were hopeless. It was just the worst, darkest period ever. I didn't even want to watch the World Cup in 2018. But now it's kind of wow. And I think what's good is that they have a lot of good players and a lot of young players as well, with a mix of experience, you got your Chiellinis and your Bonucci's.
Of course.
But the thing is that they don't really have one player who's a superstar, who stands out above the rest, and that's why I think they work so well together.
Journalists try to point out Ciro Immobile, though. Is he the man that stands out or not?
I mean, for me, Immobile has done very well in Serie A the past few years, but he's always had a little bit of trouble, translating that prolific scoring into the national team. And actually this year, and this Italy, it doesn't really have like the bomber, like Italians would call them, that we've had in the past, like a Vieri or like, Baggio or Del Piero, like you can just name them, like rattle them off. So that was probably like a point where you're just like, okay, hopefully they can translate the goal, like Immobile, for example, can translate those goals into the national team. So, I mean, I'm excited to see, and I hope that he can.
I'm excited too. And another team I'm excited to see, not because I think they're going to go all the way, but just to have them around, is Finland.
Finland.
Which brings it back to the country I reviewed. Because what I really liked in 2016 at the Euros were actually the underdogs. I always like underdogs. In 2016 you had Iceland and Albania. Now Albania were kind of tipped to go far and crashed out at the group stage. Iceland made it kind of far, and everybody was kind of enjoying, probably even the English. Admit it.
Apart from maybe about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But this time around it's going to be different in my opinion. The team from the north, like the underdog from the north, which is Finland, won't make it that far. I'm actually not that convinced. It will be super interesting to see them, but I don't think they will make it so far. On the other hand, the country that I reviewed from the south, and the Balkans, I think they have a good chance to actually make it at least past the group stage. What do you guys think about my Macedonian friends?
I think you're making a pretty big call there, saying that they're going to get out of the group. But with this format, it really feels like anything's possible, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we had it in Euro 2016 already. This thing where third place teams can go through as well.
Yeah.
It really does open up so many options.
It's
and
not
that's
just
the good
that.
thing about
They got Austria in the group, which is probably one of the biggest anti-football teams in the competition. Sorry, Austrian brothers, but actually and sisters. But it's actually, I really think that Austria gets a lot of criticism at home also, for not playing attractive football. They have like a struggling Netherlands and Ukraine, and I mentioned before that Ukraine
wait a minute,
having a hard time. So I think Macedonia could probably even end up second in that group.
You don't have to play attractive football. All you have to do is win.
I know. One free kick and that's it.
Or Portugal, they didn't even win a group game when they won.
Correcto.
So
which is one of the great stats of all time.
Literally, that's like you don't. But
that's
Pandev.
True.
Sorry, how can you not like Pandev?
Bravo.
He's
Brava,
like a king, king.
Serie A legend, obviously.
Literally, Serie A legend.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to
Inter-treble.
Pandev, actually. It's going to be interesting to see him. What about my other Balkan friends from Croatia? They're going to
Hey, look,
play England.
I was at
Excited
the
about
World
that
Cup
game?
semi-final in 2018.
I'm sorry for you.
I had to go live straight after, and I was fighting back to
That's
see it
the
on
hard
live
life
TV.
of a journalist.
That was great fun. So,
I was in Zagreb that night.
I'm hoping that we don't have a repeat of that this time in the group stage. No, look, I mean, Croatia's still got some great players. I mean, obviously, as long as Modric is around, you give them the chance. I do think, though, the way England have developed in that time, you look at the differences in the squads, the England squad from then and now, and it just feels like there's so much more talent in it now. I feel like England should be able to come through relatively comfortable in the group, at least. Obviously, the head-to-head with Croatia is a different thing. But another team that's...
No, wait, it would be better, though, almost, if England finished second in their group.
Well, who would they play then?
Because then they play somebody from the group of death.
Correct.
If they finish second, if they
Germany,
win the group, so it's almost better that they finish second. But I mean, to be fair, in 2018 they had kind of like the easier draw.
Sure, yeah.
And so like this time I was looking at it, like doing the possible like outcomes, and like it's not that easy for England if they get out. Like they'll come up against some tough teams, which is a good test. Obviously, you want those hard tests.
You got to beat the best if you want to win, right? Another team in that group as well is Scotland, right? Who haven't been at a major international tournament since 1998.
Make the case for them.
I can't quite make the case for them. We didn't make the case for them.
Even better than England.
We had a lot
Scotland.
of requests for a case for Scotland.
Yeah, we do have a video on,
there's
on the
a video
channel about
out,
them recently from our colleague Mark Corrigan, who is Scottish himself, and it's a great video, and loads about the struggles that they've had over the last decade. It's definitely one you should check out.
Yeah.
And look, they've got a good team now. Like Andy Robertson is obviously the standout star, but Kieran Tierney as well is obviously a big player. Scott McTominay playing for Man United, in midfield as well, like can't be bad. So Scotland, I think, are going to be just so thrilled to be back on the scene, and I think a lot of people could underestimate them. So they're also in a tricky group. Obviously, England, Croatia, we've already mentioned. But
Czech Republic.
And Czech Republic as well. Won't be a walkover. I think Scotland have the best chance of beating them out of the three. But, won't be a walkover either. But I think Scotland could surprise a few people, you know, and I think there's a chance that they do come out of the group, and that would be absolutely massive for the Scottish fans, long-suffering though they might be. All right, guys, I've got another question I want to ask you before we wrap up here.
Let's hear it.
I want to hear your weird predictions. I want to know, like, okay, something that you think is going to happen, not like, oh, France is going to win the tournament, because
we didn't even talk about France barely.
We don't have to.
Oh my God! Yeah, literally. What can you say?
We've got a video coming out about France in a couple of days, so
True,
it's okay.
okay.
Everybody can check that out, and everybody knows everything about France already. So, I want to know your weird predictions, though. What do you think is going to happen that perhaps nobody else has thought of, that's a bit out there?
Weird prediction. Okay, Turkey is going to damage some people. I think Turkey is capable of doing some damage to some big countries. Clubs.
Sebastian.
Well, my weird prediction still is that North Macedonia / Macedonia, actually will make it, you know, at least to the second round, if not further. That's my weird prediction. I really think that they can do something.
That's a bold prediction.
And that's going to be, in my opinion, the major surprise of the tournament, if we can call it this a surprise, after they actually beat Germany, and deservedly so also. We didn't speak about Germany. But
we didn't. I mean,
oh my God, Deutsche Welle did not speak about Germany.
Deutsche Welle does not talk about Germany. What is this? No, but let's just not talk about them.
We're going to do more of these videos, guys. So we're going to talk about Germany next time, I guess. Do send us your questions and anything you want to hear us talk about. Like we're always open to your suggestions and comments. So let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about next time around.
And give us your opinion. What's your weird prediction?
Absolutely.
As Ollie calls it, for the Euro 2021.
Mine is a bit niche. Mine is that Benzema is going to outscore Mbappe. I think he's going to score more goals than Mbappe.
How many?
That's not a weird prediction. Benzema is world
played
class.
international football for years.
What did I just say?
Golden child.
Okay, but yeah, let's observe this.
Let's see. Now he's going to score no goals at all.
You jinxed him.
Yeah,
He'll be like Giroud, no shots, no shots, no goals, no nothing, just the trophy. That's it.
All right, guys.
Cool. Should we wrap it up?
We're going to leave it there, I think,
and enjoy this balmy summer night here in Berlin.
Send the questions in, because we can answer them.
Please do send us your question and comments. Thanks for watching, yeah?
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.